In this episode, I will be troubleshooting a Class 66 which I bought on eBay. Stick around. Hi, and welcome to a new episode. Today I want to tackle this Class 66. I've only had it on the layout for about 3 days, and 4 hours into putting it on the layout for the first time, it stopped. I know it was troublesome from the beginning, and well, here we are. I bought this off eBay, and I didn't get it very expensive. I think it was about 75, something like that. And the moment I received it, I realized that one of the bogies, I forgot which one, was damaged. And I wrote to the seller, who instantly, without questioning, refunded me £25. I should have noticed then and then, but at the same time, for £50 I have this. I think it's worth a bit of trouble. So, after a few hours on the layout, it was running fine. The motor was quite noisy, to be honest with you, and I was already planning on converting it to coreless. Eventually, somehow fitting a coreless motor in there instead of the original motor. I had just installed the decoder. I had to hardwire this because it does not have a decoder socket. It's got pins, it's got soldering tabs on the side. Now you see them when I open it up. So my problem at the moment is this. The decoder is working. I have control on the light in both directions, but zero movement. I can't show you the light like this, but at the moment it's on. I'm going to remove the body and you can see the light. Until then. So here is the chassis, uncovered, the body, and I'm going to switch on the lights. As you can see, the light is on there. I will change direction. So the lights are working, but in fact, that indicates a motor issue on this side as well. But the minute I switched that off, I removed power from the motor, we're okay. So I am suspecting that the motor has had it. So my next step is going to be removing this board here and powering, giving power directly to the motor to see what happens. If need be, I'll remove it if I can't get in there and convince myself that I am powering it properly. I'll pull the motor out. So let me remove this and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Until then. Okay, so as you can see, I took it apart. I couldn't get in there easily, so I took it apart, and this way I know that I'm doing the proper testing. So this is the motor I pulled out of it. Okay, so it works, but listen to it. Give me a sec. I hope I'm still in focus. Give me a sec. Let me find it properly. Now when I let it go, it stops very quickly. So the flywheels are trying to do their job, but there is too much going on in here. In fact, I can feel it's a bit rough. And obviously the noise is vibrating on the surface here, but that's that motor. Now this is another used motor. I can't remember where I pulled it out from. Same motor exactly, slightly different flywheels, but anyway. So when I power this, and when I let the power go, by the way, notice the flywheels. More silent. and there you have the momentum of the flywheel doing its job. And this is a motor without a flywheel, so I'm going to use this one for noise level. Give or take the same as the second motor without a flywheel, so obviously there's going to be less. But what really is annoying me, this one is drawing just over 420 milliamps. This is drawing 700 milliamps. So, sorry, 47 milliamps, and this is drawing 70 milliamps on its own. So, I mean, there's no load or anything, so I think I'm going to give this one the boot, pull out these flywheels and keep them for another motor. And I'm going to put this one in. Or, yep, I think I will put in or cordless. We'll see as I go along. Let me just make sure that the decoder is still connected here. When I power the decoder from the track, I want to make sure that there is power going here from the decoder. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, here's a test. I put the original motor under the board where it is touching the contacts coming from the board here. There's no soldering there, they're just spring loaded. And I am going to power the board. Now, normally you would have a screw here and a screw here. It is a split chassis, so the current from the track travels up into the split chassis, and one side is red and the other side is a black. And obviously it will feed this board, which in turn goes through the decoder, which I have here. These are the soldering tabs I mentioned earlier, excuse my ugly soldering, which controls this board and eventually powers the motor and the directional lights. I have now put some speed on the throttle, and the directional lights are on. So I'm going to touch this tab here, where the screw would be, and this one here. And there you are. That is the original motor. Everything is working. And I think I found what the problem was. Let me take it apart and I'll show you. So, you see these, I hope it's in focus. You see these two springs here? This is what touches with my screwdriver so I can point with it here. This is what touches the contacts of the motor here and on the other side here. It just goes on there and presses on tight. What happened was, and I've had this happen on similar models, similar other 66s with the same setup. Those contacts tend to widen apart and they don't touch the contact of the motor. Hence what you get is obviously motor is not working. So now that I have it open like this, I will squeeze them in a bit, and then when I put it in its place there, I'll make sure that each one is on the outer side of these contacts, and hopefully we'll have it running once again. So let me start assembling and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I've assembled the motor with the prop shaft into the worm gear in place on the chassis. There is one mounting, you can't see it very clearly, but it's a little plastic piece here, this here, to keep the motor in place. That's all there is. Once I sandwich it with the other half, it will all hold in place. But at the moment it's very fidgety, and I'm going to hold the motor down. Hopefully this picture is still in focus, and I'm going to turn this, and there is nothing hindering the performance of whatever is moving now. Everything is smooth except for the motor, which is a bit cranky. Anyway, so, oh, by the way, if you're doing this, make sure you don't forget or lose this part here. This is a little plastic grommet, which when you sandwich this here, it stops this chassis half touching this, because there's a screw that goes right through, and it squeezes the two halves together. So if you don't have this, it's going to make the two halves touch, and obviously you're going to get a short on the track. So if you lose that, I would suggest a little bit of styrene with a hole in the middle, you know, to make do until maybe you get one, or hopefully, I mean, it should work, you know. But if you like originality, like the proper part, until you get it, you can use something like that. I would do that. Now the fun part. And normally I don't do this on camera because I make a fool of myself, like I have a feeling I am going to do, because I can't seem to find the proper place for this to go in. Oh yeah, yep, and there we are, magic. Oh yes, look, I can't squeeze enough to make those two touch because of that little grommet. Okay, so I'm going to turn the gear here. Let's see if I manage. No, I can't do it. Yep, and I can see the worm gear on this side. Let me see if I can show it to you. Turning. Yeah, so everything is nice and loose. Nothing is holding or snapped anywhere. Perfect. Just for quick safety, I'm going to put 1 and 2 here, and that way the chassis is secured almost. Just the screw here. Hang on a minute, it will come from the side where there is no nut here. Wait a minute, you see the nut there? So you put the screw in from this side, but that's where you got it out from anyway. And just screw it in. Don't need to be tight, just keep it there together. And that's it. Now, if I power this on each side, like I did before, let me see if I can manage to do this. I should be able to make it work. No lights, obviously. No, hang on, that's a DC. Okay, so I need to feed the DC. I was going to feed the DCC, would have hummed. So switch that on, direction, and here goes. Oops. Oh yeah, of course. The board isn't on to power the motor. There's no contact. You see, I made the fool of myself live. So the next step is going to be to fit whatever is next, which would be this. This was very delicate to take out because you have these little loops here, these plastic loops. There's 8 of them going in. I think it would be easier than taking it out. I don't believe there's a front and a rear, no. And if you notice, hang on a minute before I snap it in, there are these little like pins there for this to go over, and you have them here as well. So once you push in, clip, 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 and clip. That's it, it's in. Taking them out, hang on, this one isn't, okay. Taking them out, I would suggest you first open the big ones, because the chassis tends to push this away. Once I lever these out, the plastic will go down here, you see. And once I push these out, this will fall down. If you do that the other way, you'll break these off. I've broken a couple already. Anyway, so that's that. Now for the fun part. I squashed them together. Now the fun part is making sure that each pin, I don't know if you're going to be able to see me do this, but I'm going to push it down from one side, slide it this way, hoping that the pin on that side caught on. Let's see. Nope, missed. So I'm going to try it the other way. I need some lighting. I might have it this time. I don't know how much you can see what I am doing. I doubt it very much. Nope, again, wrong. Put it over. And I got this side. Okay, now it's in. So now I need one of the screws. Put it there. Oops. I don't wish to let the board go, but I'm afraid that pin will slide off the motor. Let's see. It's good to have magnetic screwdrivers. I have a couple of magnets laying around, and when I need to magnetize my screwdrivers, I just slide them over. Nope, I need to do something different. I need this to align the holes. Am I aligning the holes? Here I am aligned. There I am aligned. And I'm assuming that the pin there is still in place. Okay. What fun, these more screws. Try again. I'm going to do this offline, I'm sorry. I got one last try. I found the screw. One last try. Go in there. Go in. Whoop, whoop. Patience, patience, patience is a virtue. There it is. Yes. Now let me check again. That's okay. That's still in place. Oh, it's looking good. Okay, so we turned around, get the other screw. Now it should be easier because the holes are really aligned now. Should be. What will it be? Yep. Cool. Now we have this in place here, again with the clips. Gently, because this is plastic now. There, it's in. And now the other side. Now my decoder is there, under there. Slide this down. Oops, hang on a minute. Maybe I can show you what I'm doing, unless I'm out of focus. There. Yep, it's in. Now set the wheels. Are these the front or the rear? Let me see. No, the ladders don't align. Hang on, there's no ladder here. The ladder is on the body. So this will not fit on that side. So I'm assuming we had a camera error. I missed a bit, but anyway. So I went back a bit so I can show you what I'm doing. I decided not to put the wheels on yet. I'll put those on last after the body, so I can align the ladders and to make sure that the correct bogie is at the correct end, because the 66 they're specific to the sides. Anyway, I'm going to apply DCC supply to the chassis. So this is here. I'm hoping the lights will go on and the motor will work. Wish me luck. We have light, but we don't have motor. That is disappointing. That is disappointing. I'm going to check this offline and get back to you. Okay, I had to do some off-camera work. It was getting too fidgety. The camera is in my face here. I can't see everything I'm doing. Anyway, sorry guys, going to show you it all. So I fixed it, managed anyway. And the problem was those contacts onto the side of the motor, which make contact with the connections of the motor. That's what the problem originally was. Anyway, I've set this up again. I'm going to switch on the lights. We have directional lights working. Okay, I'm going to, we have movement. And it sounds a bit smoother. I don't know if it's me, but who knows, maybe it's better. And stop. So at the moment we have this thing working. Now I'll put the body on, put it up on the layout and send it for a run and let you watch for some time. Until then. Okay, so I have it on the track and I'm going to send it around. I am not too pleased with it. It's just as noisy as you can hear, and it doesn't run smooth, it jerks. And this is something electrical, I believe, the motor. I should have changed it while I had it out, but picks up speed and it slows down, but you can see it jerking. So I think I will take it apart once again. I will not show it to you. I'll just change the motor. I'm assuming it will be a lot better then. So until then. Struggling. Nah, that's not nice. Anyway, off to work again. Okay, so I changed the motor again, and this time it's much better. Here goes. And the smooth start. Over the point. It's an electro frog, so all electro frogs here. It will pick up speed as it goes along. Here it comes. Not bad at all. No, I'm very happy. This is much better than what it was. So, the end of this video. It's been a very, very long one. I'm sorry about that. I don't normally do much work on camera, but since I was on a roll, I kept on filming. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with this. Until the next one. Be safe